Well, happy Sunday. Had to reboot the computer because something crashed and I didn't give a fuck about figuring it out. So
It
I
didn't
just
have the usual intro.
Yeah, I just went with that one. Every now and then I keep it around just to just throw people off again because it is the original intro that shepherded in the night for about a good half of the existence of this channel. So every now and then I put it out there. Welcome to the weekend wrap up Sunday night live stream. And yes, I know I promised we were going to get Superman out of our system. But because the box office hit today and some of the most asinine, stupid ass things I've seen on the internet, because I unmuted it because I thought it was cool to unmute Superman now. So yeah,
Spoilers are out of the way.
Superman's box office came in, and it's at
pretty. It's like 123 domestic and 217 global.
Yeah, that's not great.
Okay, yeah, and that's interesting because I was actually talking about this with William this morning, where I when the first report of that came in, and I said, so what are your thoughts on this? And that's interesting you say that, because I mean this it's opening at roughly what Man of Steel did. So
I'm waiting on that. It's not bad. It's not a disaster, and I keep hearing, and I heard all this nonsense about it has to pull in 700 million to do this. It has to do this. It has to make $1 billion. Oh my God! Look at it. It's done in the previews. It's gonna make $1 billion. And like I said, the constant fountain of bullshit that happens every time one of these movies comes out. And we were saying all along. I've been saying for about a good 7 or 8 months. It really doesn't matter. It's not really relevant.
There's either that like side of the conversation, or the way it's like it's being trumpeted as like this victory over Snyder's vision.
Well, that's if you have a mental illness. That's if you need to get counseling. But we're gonna save them for last, because that's the most irrelevant side of it. Because like I said, we don't. When we talk about mental illness on the show, all I can do is provide you telephone numbers and stuff and encourage you to go get mental help. But if you're celebrating this as some victory over Zack Snyder or his fans, my only role in this YouTube community is to advise you to sit down and talk with somebody and get to the real issues that plague you, because something's not right up there. But when you think about where we were talking about, we can go back to some of the shows we did last year. And every time a DC movie comes out, somebody puts the make or break bullshit on it. The Flash needs to do this. Black Adam needs to do this. And Blue Beetle, which I don't know what Ajax or Comet you guys are smoking to think Blue Beetle was going to mean anything anywhere. But yeah, every time we do this, we do the stupid dance. And they did it with this movie too. And the plain truth of it, and Zaslav came out and said what I really needed him to hear, as far as whether or not I need to even waste my time with this universe. And on the face of things, he sounds like he is, that he made the case to the people who put forth the money inside and out of Warner Brothers Pictures and DC Studios, that this was a first step and that this is an investment. And that really is the truth about it. This movie looks like it's going to end up at about 500, because right now it's at.
You think so? You think so? Because I was pegging it I was from those results we got. I mean, that's kind of where if I were a betting man, I'm kind of putting it between like 600 and 700, like roughly what Man of Steel did.
500 million, and here's why. Right now you're at 217. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt that it's going to have one of the better, non-drops, let's say it, word of mouth, and 50%, anything that's 60 for the low. So let's give it a modest, let's give it a real good advantage, 50%, right? So if you did 300, if you did 217 globally this time around, that means you're going to do, and then we got guys chime in, because I'm not the mathematician here. If you drop 50%, my math says that's another 100 million, right?
You're talking about for like domestic, or
what? If it has a 50%,
so that would be like 108 for like next weekend. And by the way, it's like one thing that I think that maybe kind of speaks to what you're talking about is the foreign numbers are somewhat weaker. Like China in particular really is not coming out for it.
Well, China, because this movie's American. This movie bleeds America.
Well, but Man of Steel did gangbusters in China.
We're not in 2013. That's the one. That's another thing we'll bring up. All right, so we're saying you add another 108. Okay, so that puts you at around what, 330 or so, something like that. I'm just giving vague math. Now you're probably topped out about what it's going to do in that range because of the demographic overlap. That whereas before I thought Rising Tide would lift all ships, it still can with Fantastic Four. But I actually think that the demographic overlap, given the fact that it, where it is at now, and it's going to be on its third week, I think Fantastic Four is going to chew into that like a shark. And now you're talking about 82% of your viewership comes within the first 2 weeks. So now we're on week 3 with an MCU movie. So I'm thinking 500. I'm just gonna get, like I said, it could have, between now, we could be wrong. It could have a. I don't know if we're ever going to see another Sinners drop, but it could have 11%. It could have it. That's possible.
Yeah, that's but very unlikely.
Yeah, it's not likely. So if you give it the benefit of the doubt of a lowest drop off at about 50% or so, even if you do 40, you're still hovering. You're still going to cross the line at around 500 million. I don't know where 7 would come from at this point, because it would have needed, some movies have legs, but a lot of those movies that have legs don't have other movies coming up into them like that.
Well, and movies, even movies that have legs these days, I mean, they don't have legs like they had in the pre-COVID era too.
Well, it's streaming, and be honest with you, Warner Brothers doesn't need this movie to do 700 million off the box office. It doesn't benefit them. And that's another reason too. We didn't have streaming, and we didn't have PVOD in 2013. That's a big. I think people don't really bring that up enough, but that's huge, because in 2013, if you missed Man of Steel in the movies, you had to wait quite a while to either get it on physical media or you had to wait for it to come on HBO. Because that's all we remember. We didn't have HBO Max, any of that thing. We had HBO. We had HBO and HBO, all the 10,000 HBO channels that it would show on, or you had to wait 2.5 years or whatever to see it on commercial TV. So with the streaming option being there are a lot of people that really do want to see certain movies, but I could continue to bring up, they can't afford to. And Superman is one of those things that you want to bring the kid, come see crypto, and they can't afford to. So I don't think it benefits for for them to keep it in there long enough to do that kind of dollar. Plus, remember, when it comes to the box office gets 35% minimum. Some cases they get even more, but it's usually 35%. So you're talking diminishing returns. Now, you don't have a lot of big stars in this movie, like a Tom Cruise that would take top dollar, and James Gunn takes a different salary because he's a studio head. So you don't have those mouths to feed, but that 35% in this day and era is big. You take 35% out of anybody's revenue that they make, it affects you. So if they can get this, my thinking, Zabs off people watching, like and subscribe, get this to POV as sooner than you've ever gotten any movie to POVOD. The box office numbers sound great for fanboys like us because we don't have any stake in the game. There's no risk in it for us. But if you're the person who put up the money for this and you're the one who you want to pull back a higher yield of your dollar and you want to cut out the box office, you want to get it on a PVD format for all those people who couldn't afford to go out to the actual cinema, $29.95 is actually a good bargain when you look at how much you spend when you go out to the theater. The popcorn bucket will bank you right there. So get some more Redenbacher, get the couch ready, buy them like a comic or a little cheap ass plushy toys, drop your $29. That's a night out. That's a memory for a kid. So one of the reasons I don't see this breaking beyond that is because they don't need it to. They get a higher yield for their dollar when it gets closer to them. So I don't think it's going to have that time. And you want to, if I'm them, I want to strike while the iron's hot. I want to get this shit on PVOD and on my HBO Max as soon as possible because it helps with retention with HBO Max. Every big movie that you have, and this is going to be a big movie, every movie that you have, any movie that nears 500 million that you put on your HBO Max, it helps retention. Sinners didn't make 500 million. How much did Sinners make? Sinners make good money, but it didn't need to make $1 billion to be a hit on streaming. You look at their numbers.
Sinners did also had a budget was 90 to 100, box office 365.8.
And you look at the numbers when you go in there to see what's tracking, that's doing well for them. Things like that make it so that you know what, I was going to cancel HBO Max, but wow, Sinners is on. Oh shit, there's crypto. Stuff like that helps. It may not seem like it does, but that helps. And like I said, they get more money from a stabilized money for streaming. So yeah, I don't think we're still looking at a $600 or $700 movie or a $700 million movie. The comparisons to Man of Steel may be the dumbest things I hear all year. There's no comparison. We're talking 12 years ago. We may as well have been living on a different planet in 2013 in regards to how a movie business does. Now, Scott McClellan, credit to Scott McClellan. I know you saw this too, because I did either send it.
Oh yeah, I was talking to him a bit earlier today about the because he was talking a little about the role inflation plays in these things.
The massive role inflation plays with these things. The one of the main roles, because of the fact that and now I did the math and I did it on a calculator, so don't worry about the William math being fucked up, because it could be. So you look at something like this.
Oh, are you talking about? Are you gonna show us like inflation adjusted what Man of Steel did?
Yeah, look at it.
It's like its opening weekend is 160 today.
Yeah, but and they also we didn't. Man of Steel did. I don't believe Man of Steel had a preview screening, so I think that's and I think it was Memorial Day weekend, so they count it Monday. But all right, 100.
Man of Steel was mid-June 2013.
Mid-June, the money. Yeah, so you didn't have a holiday weekend there. So
and actually, there's a little bit of back and forth too on the like the final weekend number, because I mean, if people are going back and forth on whether to classify the number as 116 or 128, because 128 factors in the Thursday night early shows for Man of Steel.
Then we have to do that then, because the fact that you had Amazon screenings for
so yeah, those were the Walmart showings specifically. You remember those for Man of Steel? I went to one of those.
Yeah. So you're talking about 160 million. You're talking about 160 million in adjusted dollars, and you have to adjust those dollars, because if you look up, and you can all Google this, the dollar, the rate of inflation for the dollar from 2013 is actually $1.38. In today's numbers, 2013 dollars, and the ticket prices were $8. And but if you look at what Man of Steel did, if you adjust the dollars, it's for its entire run. It's about $930 million. This movie, for a whole bunch of reasons,
if it did that, God, how much stress and heartache would we have avoided?
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have met each other.
If it came out today doing those numbers.
Yeah, we wouldn't have met each other. So I kind of look at it that way then. So, I wouldn't have met Film Junkie. But if you look, so $1.38. So today's dollar 2013 dollar would have been worth $1.38 today, or would have, as far as adjusted inflation. So you're talking about a movie that, if you were going to have such a stupid conversation, would be $930. I don't think this movie was ever going to make that. I thought it was going to make good money. It did make good money. Make good money. All right, let's say I'm going to give it $500 million from where it's at right now. Given the damage done to the brand and the apathy that people had towards DC, I was okay with them losing a little bit of money. But everybody was telling me that they're going to throw, typewriters and James Gunn out the window if that it would be a disaster. And that just tells me that we as fans don't know what we're talking about a lot of times. I just don't. I think people don't I think most people just don't know or understand what the word investment means. I mean, if you look from 2017, from the last actual proper movie that like Zack Snyder was involved in, which would have been Wonder Woman as executive producer, right? As far as like writing stories, things like that. So you look at what we've gone through since then, as far as DC's film output, it's been fucking dreadful. Not only the movies that we got, the movies that we almost got. That was the brain trust that you were dealing with from 2017 to 2022 when they were chased out of the building. That affects your customer. You can't go from Superman to Shazam and expect the same amount of people to care. You can't come up with stupid ideas like the Wonder Twins. And you can't go from Batman to Wonder Twins and expect people to hang around. You can't go from Aquaman 1 to Harley Quinn and expect people to stick around. And you saw that in the numbers. And then your saving grace was Batgirl. You can't go from, an original Suicide Squad, the first one, to something like that. You can't. What you did for that amount of time was just basically lost people. Nobody cares about that. I love the first Shazam movie, but under no circumstances should there have been another one. I don't know what was going on with Birds of Prey. All right, they ended up spending 75 million money on them, and I know some people want to see the Bat movie, but once again, those curiosity is worthless when you're running a business. Curiosity is for the guy with no money in the game, with no leverage in the game, with no legacy in the game. Curiosity is for people who can drive past a car wreck, but they go home safely. So that's what you had. So now here comes James Gunn having to make a brand new, and you have a reboot, which once again, reboot could cost you money just by mentioning it. So you have a reboot, even though he didn't say it was a reboot. Everybody assumed that, well, it's a new Superman. It's got to be reboot because that's the only fucking word we know.
And there's, I mean, well, I don't know if I should go into that. We were talking about it earlier, but
not yet.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Then you just have the fact that the overall 2025 situation. We're not in a good place, to be honest with you. We're not in a good place financially as a nation, as a global economy. We are not in a place as far as outlook goes. And when you have all those things combined, when you have instability, people hold their money close. When you don't know when your next dollar comes from, it's really hard to spend another dollar. So I think, given those circumstances, to be honest with you, 500 is fine. 500 is fine. But then somebody, well, William, they spent so much money on advertising. Once again, all right. So when you're talking about, and first of all, I didn't like the advertising campaign. I wasn't the biggest fan of the advertising campaign. We'll go into that. When you talk about advertising for a movie, the main reason why that really doesn't, I don't really factor that into the production budget, because other branches of Warner Brothers Discovery pay for that, because other branches of Warner Brothers Discovery benefit them that. So that's not all going to be on James Gunn in DC Studios, because what are you advertising when you're advertising for the movie? You're advertising everything that comes from that movie. You're advertising it for PVOD. Those same clips and those same trailers and whatever you spent anywhere, that is advertising, that's advertising for wherever that movie goes down the line. So you're advertising for the movie, but guess what? HBO Max benefits from it. Casey Bloys benefits from it because he's running HBO Max, and guess where it's going to end up? The PVOD, that commercial, everything that you use to advertise, the PVOD is going to benefit from that. Every ancillary piece of revenue that you benefit from is going to benefit from that. So those aspects alone justify it. And that's why that kind of money doesn't necessarily come from DC Studios. So when he said he needed to make his production budget, the ad budget is not the production budget. The production budget is the production budget. So he's going to make that back. That's fine. That's what he was worried about. And as far as everything else goes, those trailers, anything that they paid for, that's going to help put the recognition in people's heads. So guess what? When we see it on TNT right after 2017 Justice League, again for the umpteenth time in a month, that's advertising. Wait a minute, I remember that movie. And for everybody, you know what else that advertising helps for? That those millions that they spend, everybody who's not going to see this movie in the theater, that will see it somewhere. So that budget really doesn't come from like James Gunn pocket or DC Studios pocket. It's like insurance. So many other people benefit from this movie along the way. That comes out of a different pie. So I'm fine with. I was fine with them losing a little bit, because even though it was a 7 out of 10 for me, and I can't go beyond that, I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I actually went for round 2 tonight too, and that's I probably again it didn't. Anybody holding out that it might have like surpassed Man of Steel in my book? No, it did not. But on round two, it did rise a little bit. There's still things where I kind of like find clunky in it. I do, again, that's like Superman himself does kind of come off as a little bit like Dewey or Star-Lord in a cape.
I wouldn't go.
And some of the humor gets intrusive on me. But a lot of elements I enjoy. And again, I am of the fandom persuasion, let's say, who has all the motivation and arguable justification in the world to hate this movie's existence from the bottom of my soul. And I thought it wasn't bad.
I saw it 2.5 times. I did the screening, the Warner Brothers screening. I was invited to. We did our own screening on Thursday, and then I did a high-end, people who helped get it going.
Did you watch only half the movie?
I couldn't watch it a third time. I'm not a rewatch guy. I'm not a rewatch guy, even for movies I like. So I did that because the business dictated that I do that. I think it's a 7 out of 10. I think they made all the right business decisions to get people going. I left the movie. Well, I said safe and basic. I think some people seem to have a problem with that, but that's what it was. It was a basic movie that covered the basic parameters of what people in the periphery think they know what Superman is. That's what he aimed for.
It's an intro movie to this version of Superman, and it accomplishes that goal.
Exactly. So I was all right with it. I know some people hated it, but you know what? The conversations that I've had with real life people, not fuckheads, who are waiting in the bushes to attack you online, about the actual people that actually have a legitimate opinion, good or bad, about the movie. I thought that was kind of cool, especially in the times I saw it, to be able to sit down and talk with people without hiding behind a keyboard, without hiding behind an avatar, without hiding behind and to me, the conversation for Superman is more positive than anything else DC was doing from 2000. What kind of positive anything were we talking about other than the Batman? What did DC as a brand given us to even break 50-50
and how much of it, like how much of what we, again, you're talking about those years like from 2017 to now, like other than the Batman, I mean, so much of it just came down to a war between the fandom and the studio.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm sorry, but just like in 2013 all the way up to 2022 and now, I've lost respect for online fans when it comes as a superhero genre. I have officially given up on you guys. I know some of this stupid shit that you say on the fringes, you would never, ever say to a person, calling somebody a name because they like the movie, calling somebody, kind of questioning their intelligence because they like the movie. I mean,
or didn't like a movie. I mean, calling in somebody's integrity, saying they might be paid, saying they're a Snyder bro, a Snyder bot, or a gun nut, or a gun dick rider. I've lost respect for online discourse, if they're whatever it was to begin with. I really, what saved this experience for me is being in a theater with a whole bunch of people, is having people come into the store when they're picking up their stuff to actually have a conversation for this movie, because that's what I mean, and that's what DC needs. They need a positive. You need a positive, not just a positive shining a petard conversation. If you didn't like the movie, you didn't like the movie, but a cordial conversation, a conversation that doesn't involve somebody's doing a stupid ass meme with gun crying or some idiot next to a gravestone, Tobey Maguire, in the Snyderverse is dead. That's not a conversation. That's just moronic. And like I said, the coolest thing about this entire experience is I got to actually talk to humans, not hiding and with no really motivation to say, because when you talk to somebody in person and that respect is there and that tone is there, even if you don't agree, it's a different conversation than dickhead, making a meme and so is crashing out right now. I'm like, dude, and I've been called all kinds of, shit. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I didn't support this movie. You're just a Snyder bro. You were never going to support this movie. Then they're not looking. They're only looking at a comment, and they're not. Why don't you click on my profile, please? I got a stack of tickets over there, and I've now seen it twice, reservations and all. So
yeah, I've given away 1,000 fans, literally fans, and I've given away. I got more posters. I've given away 34 large posters. I've given away 200 mini posters. I gave away a fucking water pipe. I mean, what do you want me to do? But even then, I can straight up tell you, while I was supporting the movie, a lot of it wasn't for me. They were aiming for a different audience, and they connected with that audience. Just get me the Lanterns. Just get me the Wonder Woman. I thought it was a good enough step to continue. That's really all they needed. Because now we have a mentality in 2025 that we don't have to panic because some dumbass people are like, oh my God, 69% drop the next weekend. We don't have stupid people driving the train. I got issues with Zaslav, but he's doing now what needed to be done in 2013.
Well, and yeah, you look at that statement he put out today, and Gunn put out one too on I think it was on Instagram. It's like I was about they like you said, they seem pretty happy with with the outcome this weekend. So but you think like 500 even is where it's going to land, or like into like the 500 to 550 range,
right around that range. And that's like, remember somebody was saying, "Oh, you're moving the goalposts." One of the goalposts hit you in the head and affected your memory. I said, and when everybody else was saying it has to do this, remember, you were on the screen with me. You were on the screen with me. When I said 450, remember, I said the 450 to 650 range. I said you can go back and replay it. I don't care about the whole being right and getting receipts. I don't care about that. But for the health of the actual movie, I was okay with that because it's not just the box office. This movie will resonate. This movie will be seen other places.
Well, and
you're really fine.
And that's why I kind of like made like where when we start the show tonight, it's like my prediction, because again, it's like it opened, essentially to Man of Steel numbers. So that's what I was thinking when I saw it. Okay, it'll do probably about Man of Steel numbers in the end, which is like Man of Steel, again, not inflation adjusted, but in 2013,
if it does Man of Steel numbers,
it topped out at 670. So
people within DCU need to be promoted. James Gunn needs an ironclad contract. If it goes anywhere above 500 million, they need to lock him in. And they need to announce that they lock him in. If this movie makes more than 500 million, they need to lock him in, and they need to put it out there.
I was thinking about that today. I was going to ask you on the show, and I was like, do you think? We were talking about this morning, a little bit earlier. Although there's some stuff William doesn't want to get into yet. Probably
not yet. There's some really cool conversations that we've been going back and forth online. But I just need more real estate so that we're not adding to the knucklehead discourse.
Gotcha.
There's some really cool things that I think that as I get more info that I can't wait.
RJ, I'll say RJ, you potentially know what we're talking about. And by the way, RJ, hi, RJ in the chat. Let me pull those up real quick. The movie did great this weekend, crossing 100 million domestics. Good start. It's only third film this year. Yeah, it is only the third movie. Well, again, now.
Yeah, but it's also been a shit year for cinema. Let's be honest.
Yeah, well, it's been a shit year. It's been a shit couple of years for cinema post-COVID.
Yeah. But, that's what I'm saying. You also got to realize where we're at right now. We're not in a good place.
But sorry to say. So that was something else I was thinking too with this. Like, do you think, how do you think, like, as far, because you said a lot of your trepidation is based on, for like the whole Universal franchise, the whole DC Studios setup is the Gunn being locked into like a 3-year contract, and that we're on year 3. Do you think this outcome? Do you think like we might get news tomorrow? He's re-upped, or do they wait until to see the final numbers?
I think they wait beyond that.
Oh, so
I think they should lock him in if he goes over 500 million. Here's the problem. If the company's could possibly be sold, no current management is going to saddle some incoming person with a contract that they have to inherit. Then new people may say, if the sub company were to get sold or consolidated, you want to give that person the right and freedom to either continue with James Gunn or bring in their own people, but you don't want to saddle them with something like that yet. So the stability of the ownership of the company might play more of a factor in that. However, if not that was taking that off the table, if we had stable management, the minute he draws $1 over 500 million, he's like, I'm locking him in. I'm locking because I'm considering all the factors.
Well, and that was something else because Zaslav, when his statement was specifically, referencing, he's called it the ambitious 10-year plan. So when you talk about like locking him in, would you say like does the contract, is it like for the duration of that 10-year plan?
I lock him in at least 7 of that, at least 7 with an option. But I can't, because right now this movie, a lot of people don't want to say it out loud. It is divisive. But guess what? What have I always said about divisiveness? You're either a pussy or you're a creator. Mm-hmm. And you can't be, oh my God, half the people didn't like my movie. Oh my God. Guess what? You know what you focus on? The half that did. You do your best to grow the people. Listen, the people who didn't like this movie should not be ignored. But the people who did like this movie should be prioritized, just like they should have done in 2013. So when you say that, you have to really understand that the numbers, even the numbers, if he hits 500 million, are not going to show the true story of the impact of this movie right now. This movie is going to have echoes for the next 2 years, not only because other programs are going out, but other people who cannot afford to go to the movies right now are going to see it for the very first time, and you're extending your goodwill. So if he pulls, like I said, if it comes, I don't care. I'm going to round him up or down. You approach 500 million. If I was ass off, or if I was the current, whatever is happening, if it weren't for the fact the company was going to be in a flux, but if I was, if I'm sitting on the sideline saying, you know what, I think I might purchase that company right now. If he crosses the 500 million threshold, if I'm a prospective buyer, first fucking thing I'm doing is locking him in. I'm locking him in because given the circumstances, 500 million is I was saying this before, and I'm not moving the goalposts. My goalposts have been right where they are. Right where they are, because we've all been through. We've watched with DC studios and movies and whatever one the hell we got. We've seen the Drex. We've seen some of the bad ideas that
we've seen the reactionary,
yeah. Hey, by the way, it looks like we're gonna fail in this mission
guys, you got to come through for me tonight before we wrap up the show. I mean, you guys might miss the best toilet scene of all time.
The movie belongs in the toilet, but hey, as you guys know, we have been I have been running a campaign to Sim Williams Comic-Con in style, and we're winding down here because Comic-Con is not this week but next week. So I'll be in San Diego. So this was the home stretch. And what I had done is I had offered up to endure 2 of the 3 dumbest movies ever made. One of them is Dumb and Dumber, aptly named, and the other one is the worst sequel to arguably the worst movie ever made. But we didn't move one dime, guys.
Guys, you got to come through. Take those hot dogs down.
We're not taking hot dogs down. We're not. I don't even want it up on the screen if we didn't earn it. We did not earn having that on the screen.
Come on, guys.
So
you're gonna miss.
Here I am. See, look at that. And this is me last year. The hardest thing that happened to me last year was Hall H in the bed. But what we're going to be doing, I got the map together, and I got, I'm going to get with that. I got the map together, man. I'm going to hit everywhere I possibly can. I am going to go to all the offsite stuff that I can get. That's not sold out. Some of this offsite Paramount thing is sold out. I really want to try to sneak into there. There's Bard, but you see, here's the thing. Even the stuff that is not scheduled, every business down in the Gaslamp District is going to have something going on for Comic-Con. You walk into any business that's within the vicinity, trust me, their employees are going to be dressed up. It's going to be so much. I cannot wait. But like I said, I'm going to be traveling all over the place. I'm going to probably be ordering a fairly decent meal so I can sit down with Robert Burnett and have dinner with Rob. So need your support. But like I said, I set a goal for 300, and I guess you guys really don't want to watch. I understand. This is kind of a double-edged sword. How'd you meet me? You guys didn't want to watch these shitty movies. I understand. You guys didn't want to. You saw Ace Ventura.
The greatest toilet scene.
You watched Ace Ventura, and you're
just
like,
give me the toilet scene on. Watch that. Come on.
I don't want to subject myself to this garbage. So I understand. So while we were trying to raise funds, at the same time, we would have needed for you guys to watch that movie.
I even threw William a bone where I said, it's like, I would not, for what I'm asking, these comedy classes I'm asking him to go through, even though he doesn't like them. It's like, I will never, ever, under any circumstances, not only will I not ask him to do a charity stream of Justice League ever again, I will not allow him to do that again. So he thinks that this is me being just mean spirited. I'm being merciful when I say no. I'm picking actual hilarious movies over that Abomination.
For some reason, Brad, these are abominations. But we missed the mark because, like I said, we would have needed to reach it by the end of this stream. And
if only Larry could pull through, or one of our usual donors could pull through. Well, come on, guys, not too late.
So we have roughly about 30 more minutes. If maybe pop at the lengthiest an hour, and I don't see it's going to happen. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. But yeah, right now I don't see it. So it looks like while I am going to have to eat bologna and cheese and whatever I can scrape up, maybe I'm going to have to fight.
He could be eating filet mignon, guys. If we just get the money for that Dumb and Dumber watch party.
But it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. So like I said, the glass half empty, glass half full. There you go. But if you want to change that, you want to alter the course of this destiny, then you know what to do.
Alter the course and like bring this as part of the course.
Yeah, I really don't see how smart people sit in front of this and actually stay there. This is on a truly dumb. Get this shit off the screen. You're ruining the show. All right, so let's skip it to chat because it was like 114. Such a long why now that you're thinking small. You're not thinking long term. This is, like I said before, these movies. This is not a hot pocket. Instant gratification. You're gonna have to try something else, but you cannot approach this with instant gratification. We did that already, and we got Hamoniverse, and we got all that other stuff. So. Here's another thing. All right. And like I said, I don't need to hide political affiliations if I don't want to, but I'm just going to keep it gray here. Right now, the world isn't really kosher with us, if you know what I mean. If you're a major partner, if you're a major contributor to the U.S. supply chain, or whether it be via audience members and or buying anything U.S. made or U.S. done, you're probably not feeling too good about sliding any money over across the table to us right now, especially if you're one of the tariff targets. If you're Canada, I think it's released in Canada. China, I mean, I don't know what it's doing, if it's released to China, but China, we have tariffs going back.
It has been released in China, and it's actually doing pretty weak there.
But here's a problem with that. Not only is it an Americanized movie, but there's tariffs on the movies. So there's some things going on, to be fair, we're just, like I said, this is not 2013. So the comparisons are quite stupid, because if you're going to make those comparisons, you're going to have to think about everything that's going on now that was not going on then. How we are as a society, what we're going through now globally, it's not the same place. So, Superman beat Jurassic World Rebirth, a movie that I have still no plans to see in its opening week. It's going to definitely be. I highly doubt a third week of any movie is going to beat the first week of an MCU A-list movie. I doubt it. Could anything happen? Yeah, I could have a suitcase full of money come through this window and hit me in the head, but the likelihood of it happening is, I don't see so. Yeah, I think anybody who's going to see these movies are going to see them in the first 2 weeks. After that, you're floating with streaming territory with some of these. Who just messaged me? Why are people messaging me? Who is this? Okay, that's business. All right, cool. Let's see. What's up, William? Hello, Azteca. I think Fantastic Four is going to do well. I have felt that way since the moment they were doing it, when they started announcing who was going to be doing it. And now Matt Shakeman, he did WandaVision. I had no care for that, but as I saw the product start to roll out, and then we saw that at Comic-Con, I think that they've advertised it and gotten people used to this, and they're treating this like even if there are some fans that say, well, Fantastic Four is not an A-lister, it doesn't matter what you think. They are treating it like A-listers. And when Marvel treats their IPs like A-listers, that's when other people get on board. So I think Fantastic Four is going to do well. I think the advertising campaign for Fantastic Four was how these type of movies should have been. I'm not a big fan. I've said this over and over again, and I was part of it. I was legitimately part of this Superman's ad campaign. I thought that they should have been an extended ad campaign that did the same thing, and everybody was throwing me, well, Barbie this and Barbie that, and I'm like, stop reading the headlines and then trying to throw your headlines at me. All right, Barbie had Barbie got released in 2023. Barbie's first trailer was in December of 2022. And it was a teaser, and then they had a full-on trailer. We didn't really get a teaser for Superman until way later, in its game than that. Fantastic Four, they didn't do a Super Bowl commercial, but the Tuesday or the Wednesday prior to Super Bowl, they had a trailer out, and then they had full trailers all the way down. I really think that I'm not a big fan of a compressed. I was wondering how it will work out. We're still counting, but I'm not a big fan of how they compressed it, because I think there's a such thing as being blinded by too much. When you over the course of time, when you slow feed it to people, you as the distributor, as the exhibitor, can make adjustments. If you were to put something out in a movie that you're making or that you're in post-production and people don't respond to it well, you have time to make changes and still roll that out in a way that people can be like, got you. It also goes in line with the traditional ways of doing movies like this. You also got to realize that even though you want to be different, people's minds are trained to how these advertising campaigns go out. I like what they did as a campaign. I don't like the timeline the way they did it personally, especially for somebody who, like I said, when we're a local market that helps promote these things, it was really hard. I had fun. Trust me, I've had a lot of fun with this, but it was really hard because you had to respond things. The only time that they ever did this like this was Black Adam, and that was because there was a regime change that decided to put in money for Black Adam. That money wasn't really coming from the people that were outgoing. That was coming from the new administration. This administration has been in place for 2 years now. So I don't understand why they compressed it like that. I personally don't think it necessarily helped, because we could have had people talking about Superman for a prolonged period of time. Now, the problem that I see with this is that, once again, everybody's running their mouth about a movie. DC is a franchise. It is a brand that is interdependent. Like I will continue to say, and I hate to beat a dead horse, Go find somebody who can put together a 1,000-piece puzzle with just one piece. And that's what I see DC doing sometimes. Everybody's so enamored with the movie, but James Gunn is, but the entire company needs to be, using it. And that's what I think that's a year-long ad campaign that we just didn't get. So Sharkovich. Oh, you guys are having a so yeah, I'm gonna periodically be checking our tip links, guys.
How much for Wonder Woman 27 watch party? We've done this previously.
For Wonder Woman, what, 2017?
Yeah. So
we did it for charity. So
yeah, we did. We done that. We always watch it again. I mean, I know that's not going to hurt William. He's not going to be like, oh, have to suffer through Wonder Woman. It's not going to be like a Dumb and Race and Terraform. Definitely, it's maybe. And now I'm very much a fan of Wonder Woman. But guys, I'm just saying, it's like these are comedy classics we have not had watch parties for on here before.
Yeah, and there's a reason why, because they're fucking stupid, and the only way I'm going to do them is if we're doing business. I would say $50 for Rational, because, to be honest with you, that's a movie that you're not going to have to. I don't have to suffer through that. So, all right, let's see. I'm gonna try to answer as many of you guys. I'm gonna. If you're talking to me, if you're Brad, do me a favor to make this easier. Put at Brad or at William so that I can, because sometimes you guys are talking to each other and I jump in the middle of your conversation and I end up feeling like
Bell Rev's got one here. Why did Ultraman look like Henry Cavill? Yeah, I noticed that too. It's like when he and there was the rumor and speculation, and I threw my 2 cents on that in a couple of features I did on Comic Book about that Henry was playing Ultraman. That ultimately was not the case. It was David Cornsweet. But when he gets his mask pulled, I mean, it's a spoiler train, but you hasn't seen it. When he gets his mask pulled off in the final battle against Superman, he's a clone of Superman, and he has like long bushy hair, and he looked pretty good. He looked strikingly like Henry.
I have a basic answer to that, I guess. I don't know if you guys will buy it or not. I think everything that's associated with Superman is going to look like Superman, and Cavill looks like Superman. Cornsweet looks like Superman of whatever era you want to pick. Even George Reeves, if you look at the old comics, the old Golden Age comics, George Reeves looks exactly like Superman.
But you don't want to talk about like Henry, especially when he lets his hair out. He has fairly bushy hair when he grows it out. So did Cornsweet when the mask off. I picked up on that. He looked strikingly Henry Cavill-esque in this movie.
I didn't pick up on it, but I guess you could say that. All right. Hold on. I'm gonna skip. I told you crypto is gonna be. I can't stand the idea and the thought of crypto, but chud me, it's money. I'm selling a crap ton of crypto. I sold a crap ton of crypto stuff. No crypto buttons. I told crypto.
By the way, interesting
crypto pods.
Interesting thing too. As far as like the further franchise from this, James Gunn was asked by somebody to. I think it was on Threads. In fact, I'm gonna see if I can find this real quick. Let me see if I can pull this up because maybe this suggests a little bit like where this is all going and. As far as like future appearances with David Cornsweet Superman. Okay, here. This is actually Film Junkie. I'm pulling it from his Twitter. Yeah, this was I think it was on Threads. So here we go. So somebody asked Gunn on Threads, when does Superman 2 come out? And Gunn says, define Superman 2.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get Superman 2. You don't need a Superman 2. He'll be in a movie. I mean, he'll probably be in someone else's movie before you get, because I'm not of the mind that we need a Superman. Just like Man of Steel. I don't need a Man of Steel 2. I never did. I got the direct sequel to Man of Steel with Batman versus Superman.
Well, so do you think he's doing a similar thing where it's like, the sequel is not strictly like like Superman 2 in the traditional sense, or
if he's thinking right, yeah, because I think that's the right way to go.
One, especially with like this whole thing kind of being divided in like Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, Chapter 2, whatever ends up being titled. So how like I mean, if with this 10-year plan they adherence to it, like I mean, how much wiggle room do you even have like for like traditional sequels within that anyway?
I don't think traditional sequels are necessary anymore. I think those are from like my childhood or my young adulthood. I think people want an overarching story. I mean, granted, yeah, you have Iron Man 1, 2, or 3, but people didn't care about those being in sequence. They cared about each and every one of those movies from 2008 to 2019, where they fell into the Infinity Saga, because it just and they would use sequel numbers to that, but those movies are all in sequence to what was leading up to. So,
right. Yes. Hey, how's it going, Aaron? By the way, I DM'd you earlier, Aaron. Let me know if you've seen that. But yeah, so you think? I mean, do you think you'll do? The next thing will be a something equivalent to what BVS was?
I don't know because we know Supergirl's coming next, right? So we know that one's coming.
Do you think he's going to be in that?
Yeah. I not much, but I think he'll be in it because depends on how much they adapt the story. Depends on how much they adapt the story. I mean, because like I say, I don't recall him being in that one. So.
No.
Anthony Manzano with another paragraph. William, I believe Superman's box office is one of these things that it's going to go late because it's repeat watch for children and families. And I think the problem with that, in my opinion, I could be wrong, is that those people that will repeat watch, they may go see Fantastic Four because Fantastic Four is a new car off the assembly line. And you're talking about money. You have to when we're having these situations, when it comes to the global financial situation, you have to choose wisely. If you just saw that movie and here's another new one coming out and that movie you already saw, it'll be on streaming within 35 days. And here's this new shiny toy. You're probably going to spend your money on that. So, yeah, I don't know how much legs it has. But once again, if it reaches 500, then that's it. That's it. Mission accomplished as far as I'm concerned. All right.
Yeah, Aaron, real quick, I DM'd you on Twitter a little bit ago, and I hadn't heard about it. Let me know if you saw my DM on Twitter. And I just curious what your thought on that particular message I sent. It's about our DNA test, by the way, guys. We have decided we are going to take the DNA test to prove, despite William's skepticism, that we aren't that lost long siblings.
It's not even. It's just creepy. It's just creepy. This is one of your dad jokes that are like people have left the improv club and you're still on stage telling that joke. If other movies can make and scrape close to $1 billion, no excuse for. Okay, fourth. It's been a while. I think about a week since you made one of these points that just is so fourth. This is the most fourth comment that anybody could ever made. I just spent the first half of the show explaining to you that why DC and its brand is not these other movies. These other movies have been taken care of. If you look at a lot of the movies that there's been no baggage with the movies that have made billion. What's the movies that have close to Lilo and Stitch brand hasn't been messed up with.
That's 6 million away, so they are going to keep that out until it hits $1 billion.
Minecraft doesn't have a brand that somebody wiped their ass with. What else? All the movies that are F4, all the movies that you're talking about didn't have the syphilis that the DC brand had built for itself. That's why this was such a big deal for them to be in good conversations. How do people feel about, how do the majority of people, forget about me, how do the majority of people feel about your movie? Are they going out into the atmosphere spreading goodwill? Or are they spreading, like I said before, we need to get to the conversation when it comes to DC properties, and we need to leave the, oh, what now to, ooh, what's next? And I think this is a step in the right direction. Wasn't perfect? No, but they're not a $1 billion machine right now. They've wounded themselves too much to be a $1 billion machine. They can get there, yeah, but a lot of these other movies that are scraping close, look at how they've been handled. Look at how they've been handled. Look at how their franchises either been handled or they're brand new franchises in some cases that don't have the baggage just by default. So I don't think it's the same thing. Yeah, and the $1 billion thing prior to the MCU was really rare. It still is rare, even with them, by the way. Let's see. What's a watch party to watch Superman? Oh, I don't want to even tell you what I paid for mine. So. Even though, like I said, I had sponsors to help along. Thank you, Sister Kim's. Thank you, Smart Smoke. Thank you, Get a Haircut. Thank you, DC. Thank you, DC Studios and Warner Brothers. Let's see. All right. So I'm just gonna get to a lot of the Superman stuff. Yeah, it was good to finally see that. I mean, I can't time travel. I wish smart companies did this. I mean, it took DC, and well, I think it just took a studio. And I think one of the conversations I always ask, what kind of conversation did David Zaslav hold with the Huntsford people and the golf club people and all those type of people? What kind of conversation? And I'm thinking now, you know what? There's probably been a more important conversation that David Zaslav had, and that's with James Gunn. And if James Gunn, who seems like a bright person, fairly smart, has been watching what happened to his comrade and what the state of DC was and how easily the rug could be pulled under them via panic, I'm guaranteeing you for his part of his agreement to take this job was that couldn't happen. And not saying that David Zaslav wouldn't do the right thing anyway, necessarily, because I don't know the man. But I'm starting to think that he impressed upon the stuff suits that if I'm going to do this, this is a process. If you want hot pockets, hire somebody else. But if you want a process, hire me. They hired him, and by default, they accepted his process. So I'm happy to see that. You know what? You'll get my money. If you stick behind your product and have faith in what you're doing, you might be doing some shit I fucking hate. But I've seen so many people go pussy when it comes to backing their product. I literally watched Warner Brothers and DC feed on themselves because they couldn't back their product. So if you do this a simple thing like I'm standing on it. I'm proud of the movie I make. Is it perfect? No, we can make adjustments. You'll have me. Right now, they have me. Just based on that alone. Just based on that alone. Because if you want me to pull out my wallet, my money, and have faith in your product, you as the maker better be out there front and center. So I was very happy to see that today. I I'm not a repeat viewer, period. But some people like the dog. Let's see. That's interesting idea. It was a lot of people. Felt more of the color, but you know what? I can go with that. They remember I said safe. They stayed within the lines. They teach you in school. Let's see. I am more optimistic about the future of DC today than I was yesterday or the day before. Because, like I said, I needed to know, and I still need. Like I said, David Zasloff can say what he wants, but he may not even be there. So, but I would like whoever comes in to mirror what he's saying, so that we know, hey, you know what? Because guess what? There are going to be some executives, some boneheads that may come along and say, well, 500 million is not enough. Some people are just fucking stupid. And they'll ruin their franchises like their predecessors did, trying to chase after somebody else's total. Instead of believing in your product, what you guys made, if it gets sold to some dumbass that says, you know what? I think we could do 800 million. I think we do 900 million. And guess what? Now we're in that stability. So it's really important that if this movie reaches something, that he's given something as far as, even if it's a smaller extension. Okay, let's go 3 years. Because guess what? Even if you sell, there's a possibility that the majority of the next 3 years is going to be going through filings and everything else and getting people on board. So you can announce a merger or sell, and it may not happen. But give him that interim time to where we're not fiddle farting with him. If because like I said, 500 million. If all the people who didn't get to see it and that are going to see it on whatever on demand or whatever it is, guess what's going to happen if they're in a better financial situation when your next movie comes out? You just grew your audience. So I think it's a win. I mean, you're going to have people, trying to turn it into everything else, trying to reignite a war. You want to have a Snyder versus move on war, go play in the dirt somewhere, just be out of earshot of me. Let's see. All right, let's see. Ray, are you talking to me about the posters? Or are you talking to somebody else about the posters? Okay. Like I said, God, if you're mentioning me or talking to me, just put at William or at Brad. That way I know, because I don't know sometimes if I'm going in the middle of your conversation, because I've done that before where I typed in and you're not even talking to me, which is fine. I can't believe next week. And like I said, possibly Monday screening of Fantastic Four. They were doing one at Comic-Con, a pre-screening on early Thursday in the afternoon, but it already sold out. So that was the one that would have happened at Comic-Con. So, but I don't mind. And if I see it Monday, that might be a movie that is rewatchable for me. I do want to see that again in Comic-Con, though. I may even skip my screening because I'm, like I said, I'm not a rewatchable kind of guy. But I didn't know you guys get sunsets. Yeah, unless you're in Alaska. Wow, damn. That sounds like a 9 Inch Nails sign. This movie made me believe that No Hope Is a Lie. That's not that serious. Wow, 500 standards have fallen. That's what I was saying.
I think he's saying like, this movie only needs to make $500.
You have to read the room. You have to understand the situation. It is fans don't.
He's joking, saying that he only needs to make $500 to be successful.
I think he might have meant 500 million. Like I said, we don't dictate the standards. The climate does. The overall situation.
By some miracle,
world,
they were happy with only $500. I guess that's what are you gonna do?
According to the Wall Street Journal, who's becoming a little bit more sketchy these days, but I do believe this. All WD wants to do what the movie do is cost $500 million, and that's it. That's perfectly acceptable and always halfway goal. Yeah, that's all it needs to do, in my opinion. That's all it needs to do, in my opinion. If you'd have told me while I'm watching them roll out Fossil Batman to basically corrupt, to turn the Flash into something that I don't know what that was ever what it was supposed to be. All the reshoots, leaving 4 movies for dead, releasing 4 movies after you've announced that that we're not going to go any further with those characters, releasing stupid movies, Shazam 2 kind of ruining the taste in my mouth that I had for Shazam 1 and putting out that movie, putting out the Harley Quinn movie and hurting the brand of that character, which was a strong brand, doing all the stuff that they've done. If you'd have told me while we're in the midst of that maelstrom that you'd be able to put out a Superman movie after Superman the character has literally been in someone's trunk for 5 years, if you'd have told me, given all that you could still pull in $500 million and still keep Superman in the conversation for better or for worse, I would have laughed at you. So now here we are with a movie that could reach that. It still has a ways to go, but if we do the math, it should come close. And if it comes close, 450, 498, if it comes close, guess what? Close enough for me. We'll make the rest on the back end on the PBOD. All right, that static's killing me. Let's see. I didn't know you guys had sunset. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, I did not thank you for your super chat, Rational Skeptic. Thank you for all the support. Seems like all the support we're going to be getting because, like I said, it doesn't look like. Let me hit.
As you have the chance to make Sci-Fi Center history here by playing 2 of the greatest comedies of all time back to back.
I don't know if my donation link is not working or you guys just not donating.
What if Williams intentionally sabotaged his donation link so he could get out of watching this laughter?
Brett,
still averse to.
Somebody send in $1 to see if it's working. I don't feel like going to get my wallet right now. I don't think I can test it on my own account because it'll recognize it. Yeah, we are still the same. Same. That looks good. I'm just checking something real quick. Smart home. Hold on. Somebody's having some technical difficulties here. One, two, three, four. And... All right, here we go. All right. Next up. Okay, sorry about that. Depends on well, I'm staying in the gas lamp this year. I'm staying where we start seeing the comic book stuff end. So where I'm gonna be safe is where we have those, when you see those little banners, welcome to San Diego Comic-Con, when we start running out of those and the lights start getting dim and the cosplay is no longer about superheroes, it's more like hookers and pimps and muggers, that's where we turn around. So that's where I'm at. How much for the movie? Which movie are we talking about?
Ace Ventura, Ace Ventura calls.
Oh, I get
just $3. I mean, that's fair. Come on.
Yeah, you're not gonna get me to do it, and it will not end up on this show. Mm-hmm. I set a goal a week ago, 300 total for everybody. So
come on, guys, come through before the show's over.
It doesn't look like we're gonna do it.
Bill Rev, how many years? Next year. The next one will be Supergirl.
And then you have we're still, like I said, I don't know if I think the donation link is working. You guys are gonna have to test it. Let's see. All right, Dark Knight. Let's see, you left to. Yep, I got you. I got your super chat. Thanks. I'm just skipping. No, it's not. It's you know what?
There's a guy who turned that into cosplay at New York Comic Con last year.
That is
when something is turned to cosplay, that automatically makes it awesome.
I want to meet the squirrels that run your brain one day.
Yeah, remember I showed you the guy at Tampa Comic Con who did a Liar Liar the Pen is blue scene. There you go. It's like if you could cosplay it, that automatically makes it fantastic. It makes it.
You're calling Liar Liar fantastic. Something is wrong with you.
Damn right.
No, the rhino scene, to me, you guys think that's funny? That's funny, haha. I think it's why he never got nominated for Academy Award when it came to one of his best movies, arguably his best movies. I think it's why once he ascended and showed the world that he could do those kind of roles, that every time somebody thinks of Jim Carrey, they think of the stupid shit.
But he never would have gotten Eternal Sunshine without the Ace Attorney.
But here's the thing: you can say that about it doesn't matter. It not how you got there. It's what you do once you're there. Robin Williams got there using one way, and you see what he ascended to. Rest in peace. So yeah, great. That's fine. Even if you want to concede that, that doesn't mean that there's not a different and better actor there somewhere that's never going to see the light of day. Because
William thinks that Jim Carrey should never have gotten to the heights he did because he should have started with Eternal Sunshine, which he never would have made.
No. He should have gone on to other stuff though. Like I said, I'm using a classic case of Robin Williams. Robin Williams did all that stuff, but when it was time to him to ascend to different types of roles, he did it. I'm not saying he shouldn't have done Ace Ventura, but I think it's sad though that I do think that those type of the memories of those roles when it comes to studio execs, they think of that, and even if they're laughing at it, even if they like those movies, I don't think they put him in the same category as some of the places he may have been in without those things being the dominant part of his catalog. So. I think the movie does have some rewatchable value. Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't have rewatchable value. It's where
it's
where
Williams again, not a rewatch guy on most things.
Yeah, that's for me.
Not a rewatch like opening weekend guy. Maybe is a better way to put it.
I'll rewatch it on different platforms. But here's the thing: I think a lot of people who would have 10 years ago, 12 years ago, would have gone back to the theaters and watched things over and over again in the theater. I think with streaming being an option and streaming being a soon option, so soon after a movie's release, I don't think you're going to get a lot of that. I know there's people who've seen it 4 or 5 times, but for every one of those people, there's somebody who's either can't afford to go see it or will see it the one time and that's it. That's going to be the majority of people. I don't have Zelle. I have Venmo. Let's do Venmo. What's my Venmo? So I use Venmo a lot when I'm out. When we do drive-ins, it's a lot easier to screen scan. So what about Venmo? All right, let's use the Venmo. Did you tag me in, Aaron? I'll be right back. Board the chat while I'm gone.
Okay. Jimmy Carrey cashed in similar to Adam Sandler. Yeah. When Sandler, what was it? Uncut Gems he did. Now he held off quite a bit longer than Jim Carrey did on doing dramatic stuff. But yeah, he eventually went that direction. But does not take away from Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura's status as undisputed comedy classics. Come on, guys, you got to come through. You got to break out your wallets before the show's over tonight. I know you can do it. What else you guys got for me? Yeah, there.
All right. Well, there you go. If you want to do Venmo. There we go. I think Cash App. Well, Stream Elements it just makes it more business-like, but I can do other things. Cash App. The Sci-Fi Center's Cash App is. Hold on. I forgot how to do this. Hold on, let me see something real quick.
Okay. Well, while Williams stepping back, I could talk to you guys more about, hey, I got something I'm looking forward to later this year called The Furious, which is a Hong Kong action flick that has Pan-Asian cast. It's going to be like the martial arts action movie event to beat this year. And William won't let me talk about it on here because he doesn't like the awesome kick-ass topics like that. But I sneak it in whenever he's, predisposed or undisposed or doing something else. Okay, what else you guys got for me? You didn't like it, man? Yeah, I saw you mention you saw it. I went and saw it tonight. Elmo went to anti.
Larry just used the PayPal link that's part of Stream Elements, so you can do that too. So thank you, Larry. Listen, Larry got us $20 closer to you're only $280 away, Brad, from seeing it.
Yeah, come on, guys, come through for me tonight. Elmo, what happened?
What do you mean?
With Aaron saying Elmo went.
Aaron, you haven't briefed us on this. Don't get us into trouble. What are we doing? What's going on, Aaron? Aaron has a temper. I don't, Aaron gets very angry. Ask Denny O'Neil.
Oh yeah, I think I'm seeing what Aaron's talking about here.
I hadn't seen it.
Oh, the official Elmo account apparently got hacked today and typed out some very anti-Semitic stuff.
Oh my God, what is wrong with people, man? Can't we look at Rodney? Late Rodney King said, "Here's a Cash App. If you guys want to do anything, can't we all just get along?" Remember that one? Oh, you weren't alive. You were alive, right?
Yeah, I was a little kid, but
you were like 5. That was my senior year, man. Burning down my damn city over that shit. Let's see here. So there we are. If you guys, if you use the if you go to the Stream Elements thing, there's an actual PayPal. Math really doesn't. That's why a lot of people, they make the decision to go in and out of it. But when it comes down to it, math is a truth that is all its own. We as fans can think one thing, executives can think one thing, but when it comes to math, it just adds up. That's all it does. Yeah, anti-American sentiments are very high. Yeah. And I've been all over this world. And I've never felt it like it is now. And it's not, once again, to be honest with you, it's not against America in general. It's certain people. But the problem is that we're a democracy and those people were elected. So when you're looking, some of it is directed at us in general. But hey, listen, there's great nations all over the world that hire, listen, good companies hire bad people sometimes. It happens. All right. Why? What? Okay. But that like I said, the number is not the same. Let's look at but like I said, we still got time. We still got some topics to cover. I'm relaxed. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon because we still got Dexter Resurrection to cover. Also, we have AEW's All In. I just want to I know a lot of people wanted to talk Superman, and I know last night I said it would be the end of it, but for the most part, it's this weekend is because really now we got our little box office numbers, unless there's like a big spike. But right now, it's headed into my most anticipated movie of the year, which is Fantastic Four, and the fact that the popcorn bucket has been secured, the weight has been lifted off my chest. The world is a much safer place right now because you're not going to be walking in the lobby and wondering what hit you, and then you wake up and you have like a class full of money. Now, I'm not just going to give you. I wasn't going to just give you the $79, $80. I was going to give you a little bit more, so that you felt better about your loss. But now I know it's secured. But thank you for the $2 super chat. Can't wait till Fantastic Four. You guys think you're funny. I hope. I think Fantastic Four is definitely going to get one. I'm not the biggest fan of James Gunn not going all in with a full-on panel because with Supergirl coming out, I would have Amelia Earhart. But and then at the other hand, I understand it's expensive, and if the MCU who they pull in billions decided they wanted to skimp a little bit, then I could see how DC, who's in a much more dire situation, May, but hey, that's going to make it a lot less congested for Comic-Con. I've seen a lot of people in the groups that I'm in, because I follow a lot of groups this time of year, to try to get the skinny on what, and making some friends online that will be able to help me if the Hall H was going to be the trek that it was last year. If you can meet some people ahead of time and meet them in your line, there's a lot more. You have numbers, so we can go do other things and hit other spots while somebody's watching, and then we switch with them. So a lot of them are not doing Hall H this year because of the fact that Marvel won't be there. All right. Nico Billick. There's a big plot hole in Superman. Why did Superman use extra vision to see Ultraman's face? He should have known something. He may have had been wearing a lead costume. That's my first guess. It was never laid out, but then a lot of the stuff in the movies they were laid out. Maybe that's it was a lead costume. It could have been a lead line costume or something like that. Yes, please hit the like and subscribe. 74 of you watching. I'm gonna miss you guys. I'm gonna miss these numbers. We've done some astronomical numbers this week, and I know why. And I am under no illusion. I would like you all to stay. We have some really kick-ass conversation, despite Brad being here for most of them. But we don't always talk Superman. Eventually, the Superman discourse, good, bad, or indifferent, it's just going to go away until the next movie comes out. And like I said, because of the curiosity around the movie, when it comes to an MCU movie, you guys most people already made up their mind about the MCU, whether they trust them, like them, or don't like them. And like I said, I'm still waiting for somebody to show me what a MCU A-lister felt. So I don't think they're going to have that problem. I don't think they're going to need the hype that a DC movie will, because they don't have the baggage. But yeah, I'm going to miss you guys, man. I'm going to miss these, 100 and whatever, people live watching across platforms. Right now we got 77. I hope you stay around. I hope you like and subscribe. I hope you tune into us on all platforms, but I know as soon as the Red S goes away, it's going to be back down to still respectable, but not bonkers like it's been this week. I mean, you look at all my reviews and look at, we got 1,000, we got over 1,000, almost 1,100 for the Deadpool review we did in Comic-Con last year. And then everything else is like 200 and 300. But I do a review, and I look like shit in that review, by the way. And I got to get a better angle of my head, or it looks like Grimace or a sausage head. But yeah, there's 3,000 people that watched that review, and then our live stream in the middle of the night, another 1,100. So I'm gonna miss you guys. But while you're here, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the alert button, spread the link, spread everywhere else. I apologize in advance for if you come in on a day where Brad thinks he's funny, and then you leave.
Yeah, well, means like I think I'm funny. It's every day it ends in Y.
Yeah, and
he's not funny. Objectively so.
Watch the King of Comedy or Taxi Cab, where that guy thought he was funny. So that ended for you.
Yeah, he showed you how not to do it, and then I show you how to do it.
Yeah, I highly doubt he even wants to do another Superman. I think that it's important. I think you will see other characters, but I don't think you can really accomplish what he's trying to accomplish without Superman. Superman and Batman. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are going to be the ones that you really want to get out. Let's see. It's weird not having direct sequel. Well, like I said, it's not necessary. I mean, you can still do it, but it's not necessary. No, because if you're doing a connected universe, you're connecting. Your next story is to that universe, no matter what. With Man of Steel, I didn't need a Man of Steel. I just needed the next chapter in that arc, and I got it via BBS. So, for me, I don't need a direct sequel. But some people, because it's really just semantics at this point. Let's see here. All right, guys. We are going to finish up this topic, and then we're going to roll into. All right, let's. What she say? $3. $3 to add a random topic to the stream for 10 minutes. I'm not $3 to watch Ace Ventura. That's $3 too much. Unfortunately, I don't have any money. That's fine. If you do what you can, do not break yourself to fuck around with me. Don't do that. Let's see. There you go. That's the link for Cash App. No, I don't think I will. I really can't say out loud, but it's legal. It's legal. No one was hurt and no one was robbed.
The child was very heartbroken and went home in tears, and William's okay with that.
No, let's just say that a certain place that I frequent a lot and dispense a lot of revenue to is going to be keeping an eye out for me. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, Brainiac. It's you have time for me. I would have liked to see Brainiac in this movie. Lex was flat for me. I would have loved it, but I don't know how. I don't know if he would have done Lex. He could have done Lex just as flat. Yeah, we'll go with Brainiac. We'll go with Brainiac. I think Brainiac should have been in this one. Let's see. Oh my goodness. All right. So let's go. Let's talk about AEW's All In. I'm sorry, wrestling fans or non-wrestling fans. You should know by now. I am an absolute wrestling dork. So yeah, we're gonna talk wrestling. Let's see. One of the better pay-per-views. One of the better pay-per-views of the year. AEW's best one this year. Let's go up and down the tickets. AEW All In. Let's go with the. I rather enjoyed this show. All right, so All In was in Texas, Global Ice Stadium, which is where the Rangers play, and 27,000. They sold it out. They sold the amount of tickets that they wanted to sell, which was good. It was such a, I guess WWE thought enough of it to put Saturday Night's Main Event on that day so that AEW could not use that time slot, or they thought they couldn't use that time slot. So here we go. All right, it opens up with your Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, Dustin Rhodes, Marshall Von Erich, Ross Von Erich, the Von Erichs, 8-man tag team match. I passed on that. Big Boom, AJ and the Conglomeration. I passed on that. Really decent match. I watched it afterwards. One of the last opening matches was FTR beating the Outrunners, a match that should have actually been on the pay-per-view, but it was on the buy-in show. So the first actual match on the show was Katsura Shibata, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Samoa Joe defeated the Death Riders, but they got jumped and beat up after, and they broke Samoa Joe's neck, kayfabe. MJF won the Casino Gauntlet match, which means he gets a world title match. That's going to be interesting. Dustin Rhodes defeated Daniel Garcia and Kyle Fletcher and Sammy Guevara by pinfall. This was the match where Adam Cole was supposed to be there, but he had a legit injury and had to vacate the title. One of the best matches of the night, one of the best matches of the year. Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay defeated the Young Bucks in a match that had I almost hurt my neck watching the match. It was so fast-paced. There was so many well-placed high spots. Will Ospreay is my favorite wrestler in the world to watch. Swerve Strickland's getting up there. The Young Bucks are doing more legendary stuff than any tag team I've ever seen. The stipulation for this match is if the Bucks won, that they would have to step down as EVPs. If Ospreay and Strickland lost, they would not be able to compete for a world title for a year. So obviously, with Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay winning, they don't have that clause. They'll be able to compete for the title pretty soon. Athena pinned Mirisha Akira for the gauntlet match for the AEW Women's Champion, and she's currently a Ring of Honor champion. Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, who is 48 years old, and Shelton Benjamin, who is 50, and they look like gods. They look like gods out there chiseled. Defeated Jet Speed, which is Kevin Knight and Speed Bailey. Very entertaining match, but I knew who was going to win that one. Timeless Tony Storm defeated Mercedes Moné by pinfall. One of the best matches of the night. Probably tied with the Ospreay match. The best match of the night for me was the Okada versus Omega match. Anywhere in the world, you give me that match any time of day, I'm going to watch it. This was not their best match. It was not their best match, but the previous three that they've had, this one was not the best one. But that's like, that's a high standard. Those matches are legendary. Hangman Adam Page and he defeated Jon Moxley by submission. This was one of those gross matches where they were slapping each other with baseball bats with nails on them. He DDT'd Adam Page into the bed of nails. There was all kinds of gross stuff happening. I hate these types of matches, but the good news about this is Jon Moxley isn't champion anymore, and the Death Rider story seems to be nearing its end. Thank God. Adam Page won, and he was able to take the belt out of the suitcase that had been in since October of last year. So I enjoyed this pay-per-view. I really enjoyed the matches. I enjoyed the gauntlet matches. I even enjoyed the Texas Death Match. As Texas Death Matches go, I thought this was one of the better ones I had seen. I'm not a gimmick match guy, and all Texas Death Match is a dangerous gimmick match because you could seriously hurt yourself, even if they're fake nails. I'm sorry, but when you're DDTing a 200-pound man headfirst into them, anything you're just smashing somebody's head into, unless it's whipped cream, is gonna hurt. All right, no, she took her. Mercedes Moné was defeated for the very first time in AEW. She did not take the belts. Camel Clutch, Iron Sheik, rest in peace. All right, so I think Ricochet should have won. The Casino Gauntlet. I think you're setting MJ up for something. MJF up for something. That's why that happened that way. I would have gone away with Ricochet, but I think Ricochet is going to be fine. It's a Maniac. All right, so there you go. I know a lot of you. I know Aaron is. I know we got some wrestling fans in here, but that's when it comes to this channel, we cover wrestling. Hold on, let's check because we got one more topic to cover, and still struggling. We are still $280 away from meeting that goal. So that goal goes up in smoke as soon as this stream ends. So let's see what we got here. I'll put the link in there. And if you can use you can also use like I said, you can also use PayPal. I'm giving that. So send William to Comic-Con in style. Here we go. All right. Yeah, they really don't put on bad pay-per-views. They really don't, especially with the quality of wrestling. I've been watching the company since it was formed, and they just don't put on bad pay-per-views. They put on long pay-per-views. This did not need to be 6 hours long. This is a 6 hour long pay-per-view. But Tony wants to give you your money's worth. So there you go. All right, now we're gonna roll into Dexter Resurrection, a show I wasn't sure that I was gonna watch. After Dexter New Blood pissed me the fuck off, I wasn't really sure whether I was gonna give Dexter another chance. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'm an idiot. I watched the first 2 episodes and they were actually pretty good. Now, keep in mind that the first 5 to 6 episodes of Dexter New Blood were good, and that show rolled the toilet in its last 3 episodes and insulted our intelligence. This one kind of does the same thing because they moved on from that story, and the way he gets out of the story was complete and utter camel shit. But they're like, you know what? We know you remember that last iteration. Let's just we're here. Just tell yourself that this is the way it ended. So now he's in a new situation. He's in New York City, and he's keeping watch over his son, who's gotten himself into some trouble. And he's an Uber driver now, so that's another thing. And there's another serial killer he kills Uber drivers. He kills Haitian and immigrant Uber drivers or whatever they call it there, and he does it in a very gross way. He uses a really thin chain and he rips their head off. It's kind of gross. But so that's the backstory, because Dexter has to be hunting killers, and then you have Peter Dinklage, who is an admirer of serial killers, and he has them as part of this elite group. So he invites Dexter in it. So I thought the first 2 episodes were good. They brought back Batista. For those of you guys who don't know, Angel Batista was a detective that took over for LaGuerta, if you didn't watch Dexter, and this might be the dumbest cop ever. The National Order of Fraternity of Police, you're not being served well by this dumb cop. So yeah, I thought the first 2 episodes remind me of early Dexter, and then the way they're making it to where they, the previews, or he's almost going to get caught, and then he never gets caught. But now his son is in the game too. So it's not just Dexter about himself; it's Dexter looking out for Harrison, his kid. So, yep, Camel. There you go. Yeah, New Blood pissed me. I was so angry. I remember watching a guy, Teflon Don. He does reviews of these shows, and he broke the show down in the most hilarious way possible. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right. So yeah, I recommend it for right now. It could go off the rails. But I'm good for it right now. 6 hours. You guys have much time? I didn't watch everything because I had it rolling in the background because it started at 1, so I was helping customers and stuff. So I had it on my big screen in the store so I could do a lot of stuff. But yeah, sitting and watching it, dude, I've been to one of Tony Khan's pay-per-views where they're 5 hours. Even though I'm not in the ring, it's exhausting to do anything for 5 hours. I don't care what it is. I mean, even if you're just sitting there, it's just like, So for Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber, it was 300. I guess if we just did Ace Ventura or one of those movies separately, it would be 150. It's a high bar because those movies fucking blow. Tesla Day, he's hilarious, dude. And like I said, go back and watch the final episode of New Blood. The last episode of New Blood is so hilarious. Because he calls out everything that I call about the nonsense about that show, and he does it in a way with his New York accent. It's like, man, what are they doing here? And it's like, and he does Game of Thrones too. He does Game of Thrones ones. I watched his Game of Thrones one when House of the Dragon was on. Some of these guys, these channels are hilarious, man, just for their delivery, And I could never be those channels because I don't do it that well. But he's from my neighborhood in Queens. Oh, okay, cool. And you could tell this guy's straight up a New Yorker, man. You could tell this guy's a straight up New Yorker, just from the first words out of his mouth. Yeah. But yeah, so he has reviewed the first 2 episodes of Dexter Resurrection, and I can't wait to see what he has to say. So I'm going to be watching those later on this morning. So, all right. So we have only moved $20 closer to the goal. Yeah, he covers a lot. He covers I think he covered C. I think he covers Succession. I think he covers a lot of shows. But there's only a couple ones that I really am into that he covers. All right. So that's Dexter Resurrection. So we're nearing the end, guys. We're nearing the end. I don't know how much. Do you really not love me, or do you hate these stupid movies?
Yeah, I think it's they hate you for putting in the position for this. So it's like maybe this is a vote of protest, protest vote.
That doesn't count.
It can't, because it's like they're saying, okay, you're not going to let us watch these comedy classics. We're going to have to punish you by not helping you bankroll your Comic-Con trip.
Well, then we don't watch these stupid movies. Everybody wins.
Yeah, but but then you're going to be regretting that when you're at Comic-Con eating top ramen and sleeping on a park bench.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Would have been nice, but I'll figure it out. Come on, guys, look at that. Look how happy I am there. Look at that. Come on. Don't you want to put a smile on my face? You don't want me having to eat raw sewage salad? Come on.
Put a smile on his face and let's help open his eyes to the brilliance of Face Ventura.
And there's a sad thing about it is Brad likes these movies. Brad's upset that he won't be able to watch these trash-ass movies. And they are trash. Make no mistake. These movies that I am
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't have to. Yeah, so you on the tip link, you can use PayPal, and it goes right. Yeah. So there you go. There you go, guys. We're winding down. Not only tonight, but we're winding down. We are ever so closer. We are ever so closer to Comic-Con itself. So there you go. Top 5 matches of the weekend all came from AEW. AEW. All the matches of AEW were better than anything else I saw this week. All right, we're going to keep this going for just a little bit longer. Let me see this here. Buy myself some time. There we go. Oh, that static is killing me, Brad.
Yeah, well, I mean, why don't we set that as the price? Or it's like I'll turn off the static and you know, for good, and like never talk during the rest of the stream if we just watch Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber.
That I'm gonna let you say that out loud and see how much sense that doesn't make.
Evolution. Let's tack that on too. Like do a triple feature, and Evolution is also pretty funny.
Let's see. Hold on. Home. Sorry, I'm triple tasking here. All right, guys. It looks like Evolution was awesome. I thought the last match was Io Sky. I didn't get a chance to watch the rest of them. I'm gonna probably watch that later on Peacock. But yeah, Evolution. Naomi captured in the title and is now the world champion. I think it's because we don't want to see Brad. You know what? That's actually a good point. Because you just see somebody this happy to see these stupid ass movies. Maybe they just don't want to see. Maybe you're dragging me down.
But I mean, you could swap like my unhappiness for William. I mean, and he's like way better unhappy than I am. It's like I mean, he's more.
You are.
He's way more fun.
Your voice reaches like
with Howard the Duck, and like once he like hits the ground running and like talking about how much he hates Ventura while watching movies.
That high screech of your voices, they love that. They love seeing you melt down, man. It's like there's video clips out there you melting down. Probably.
Yeah, there's no. Come on, it's like, Williams. Like, he's way more entertaining when he's just going nonstop about not liking a universally regarded comedy classic like Ace Ventura.
Universally regarded trash, but you know, if you're into trash, and these movies are great. If you're in the absolute smoldering hot garbage,
it was pulled from the pile of comedy trash. That was the early '90s. That's what I think. William just spoke there.
Yeah, whatever. Just like I said. But there we go. I think we got about 7 minutes left before I wrap it up, and that's it. We're gonna have to come up. Like I said, we can split them up. If you want to lessen my suffering and still support me, you can do 150. 2 of them at the same time, though, that's gonna hurt. So pull your funds together, and you know. But like I said, I do think that's a good point. I do think that most of them just don't like they want to make Brad unhappy. They don't, making me unhappy. Who cares? But seeing Brad, they don't want to see Brad happy. So that's kind of sad that's what's holding you back.
But really, it's, I mean, again, William is objectively, it's his rants on hilarious movies are way funnier than my rants on terrible. Like stuff that like, I mean, the script for every scary movie. It's like I'll tell you like how it was written. It's like the Wayne brothers or the Zuckers or whoever was writing at the time. It's like they just puked on their keyboard, and that's how the script was done. That's what it was. That's how every single movie was written, and that's how we got the end result.
See, the bottom line is
and like
the chat in the crowd.
And Meet the Spartans and Disaster Movie. I mean, those didn't even have like that much really. I mean, all those had was just like they just were like winging it. They just said, okay, we'll throw somebody in an Iron Man costume or or something like that. It's like, we'll just have Leonidas kick like the American Idol panel into the pit, and it's like they'll call it a day. It's like that was the process on that.
No, we made it for Ace Ventura 1. What this would have been for would have been Ace Ventura: Nature Calls, equally horrible movie, and then Dumb and Dumber, one of the dumbest things.
That's greatest undisputed, fantastic comedies of all time.
So yeah, and we watched Ace Ventura. We did that. I met my obligation there, but you know what? We require like I said, I want to live high up the hog in San Diego, not low up the hog. So we're running out of time.
You guys dropping the ball here. It's like again, William is like he has to. He needs to have bankroll his Comic-Con trip properly. The only way we can do that is with the hilarity of Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, and Dumb and Dumber.
You can't even. They don't even roll up the tongue as anything credible to be watching. That's the thing. It's like,
yep, $150 for one. So you hear that, $1.50 for one, and then another $1.50 for the other, and then we can watch.
No.
$1.50 each.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
The see, it was laid out right here. It's like $1.50 for each one.
If the decimal point's not in the right area, it's not happening. I don't care.
Aaron, that 300 parody movie was disaster. Yes, it was. I was frightened. Zach started seeing it. I'd love to hear his thoughts on Meet the Spartans.
Oh, he probably got a kick out of that. That guy seems to be pliable when it comes to the sense of humor.
Yeah, but he got a kick out of like the fact that it made such an impact that a spoof movie was made.
Like I said, if you listen to the heights for people making fun of you like that, if they start doing Saturday Night Live skits about you, you're
now imagine how much more he would have liked if the jokes in Meet the Spartans were actually funny. If it was actually funny.
Well, they weren't funny for you.
They weren't funny for anybody because the movie is terrible.
You can't speak for everybody, just like I can't speak for.
I can speak for. I see as a human being with a functioning prefrontal cortex. It's like I can speak for people who have those and say that Meet the Spartans is it's not funny for anybody with a prefrontal cortex.
You absolutely cannot speak for.
I absolutely can. I can, and I just did. What? Did he come through?
Larry came through for one.
Yeah, Rhino
is
time.
Is it Larry? Is it Larry? Hold on, let me make sure it's Larry.
Well, it sounds like it was.
Ace 3. There's no Ace 3. You mean Ace 2? Is that the one you want to do?
There needs to be an Ace 3. Yeah, it's
oh,
Ace.
No. Well, no, there does not.
Well, there's a son of Ace Ventura one out there, but it's like nobody, I haven't seen that. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah, nobody cares about it. Mm-hmm. Jim Carrey, please do a dramatic role in your next movie. Hold on, let me see who sent that in.
Ace 2. Thank you, Larry. Now, if you're feeling even more generous tonight, we could also add Dumb and Dumber to it. You wanna.
Awful movie. So we'll have to set that up.
See, William's Comic-Con trip is now going to be. It's going to be so much better now.
See, unlike, dude, I can take it. I can take it.
No, you can't.
No, because I had to see some of these movies.
Like, the hell you can. You were going to pieces or anything, Ventura, man.
I sat through it. I didn't. Did my voice ever reach the girl level that yours?
No,
did?
you just despaired like.
You almost broke glass. I thought you were gonna break glass. Oh my God,
Jim Carrey, like
you turned. I will stand by that.
He could have had an Oscar when he was making the world laugh and like laughing all over the bank while he was doing it.
Here's the thing, though. He's had, these guys can get money. Can you get prestige, though? I mean,
I can't wait till we get that Rhino scene. I mean, that alone is going to make it worth it.
You're going to be the only one laughing. You're the only one laughing. Let's see where we're at. All right, so we're halfway to the goal of now that will cover When Nature Calls. That'll probably be one of our lower. See, it's gonna suck because we're going from these high viewing numbers with Superman. And then we're going to go to Ace Ventura, and once again, because the numbers on Ace Ventura are not, nobody watched this. And thank you guys for not watching. I've never thought I would say that as a YouTuber, but thank you because I don't want to ruin your lives. I don't want you watching this with us because I don't want to fuck up your outlook on life. I really don't want to fuck up your outlook on life. So there we go. All right, so there we are. So Larry came through, and is there anybody else who wants to see Dumb and Dumber? I don't think Larry should have to do it all. If you want the double feature, we still got a little bit more time. We got about 10 more minutes. I'm going to wrap this up at like around 10. By the way, 75 of you watching right now on a late Sunday night on early the Monday morning. Especially for some of you who are on the East Coast. For those of you, I know for a fact there's a couple people in here from the other side of the planet. Thank you for being here. Also, The ones I've been getting a lot of comments from you guys watching on the rewatch. You're letting me know that you're watching on a decent hour, so that is cool too. So the show is there for you. I'm a night owl. This is when I put the show on, but it's there for you to watch anywhere else. So please like, subscribe. Yeah, there you go, Larry. There is someone fun, dumb and dumb D&D. No, when he says D&D, he's not talking about Dungeons and Dragons. He's talking about Dumb and Dumber.
Well, we already got this one funded right here.
It's really hard to take you seriously on anything entertainment when you find that funny. And I'm being serious. I'm like, how can I take you? You're well, what are you doing? Yeah, duck time is October. Yeah, Clint has already did his part to send me to San Diego and stuff.
Rhino and duck time.
Oh, I didn't even know it was a fucking rhino emoji. Yeah, now I know. I love the kangaroo one she does. The damn kangaroo is like running feet over hills. Let's see. I'm keeping an eye on it, guys, because we're about to land the plane for the morning here. I'm looking at all our platforms and making sure that I'm not missing anything. Let's see. We're still the StreamYard Streamlabs thing. There's so many stream things going on. Let's see. I'm refreshing all my screens. Looking. All right. So at exactly about one. I got to eat too. So. But I think we covered. Well, tonight was not the most topical thing that we were supposed to be. Like I said, usually this is just a wrap-up show, but we did have some specific things, and I did not. Yesterday, I wanted to make a complete Superman boat show. But by the way, guys, that thumbnail is beautiful. My thumbnail. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. And the best thing about that thumbnail is Brad ain't on it anywhere. And I didn't do that on purpose, by the way. I just forgot to fucking put you in there. Look at that thumbnail. That thumbnail is beautiful. Look at this. Ah, shit. I just heard you got mail. Hey, get the Dumb and Dumber thing off. Get that off the thing. Kick that off the screen so I can put on. Well, I'll kick it off. Yeah, you gotta love that. Look at that. Now I'm there, of course, looking ridiculous. But yeah. I really, and the only reason.
No. Screw this. I want to know what that mail was about. Does it involve a donation?
No, I didn't see it, and that's nothing. Hold on. Yeah, it's nothing. Hold on for a second.
Oh, did somebody come through?
Nah, you just. Oh, okay. Hold on. Wow, it really jacked. Hold on for a second. Be right back.
Okay.
Look at that thumbnail while I'm gone.
That thumbnail that has no me and therefore is like it could have been Super Brad could have been made this so much better. Could have been so.
No, that wasn't anything. Don't worry about it. Look at that thumbnail. Thumbnail's beautiful. Sorry, Brad. It looks like we're only going to get one of these movies.
Well, we're at least going to get the one with the rhino. Because that's the one you lament the most.
Well, no, because I'm like, if I'm sitting there thinking about looking at serious actors for my movie, and I can't get that out of my mind, I'm pretty sure that's going to hurt somebody. So. All right, so how much time do we have left? Last round, guys. What's that? What is that? What are those, Ray? Oh, it's Brad. Yeah, Brad. Yeah, it's Brad. Yeah, they're hearing your thing. Yeah, oh, that's a fax machine. How did you find these emojis? There's a fax machine emoji? My emoji game is
she could have put me as like the Daily Planet, cub reporter on that thumbnail.
Well, that would have been. I was gonna put you as Superman, but I don't have a good picture of you. And your avatar, the one you use that I do have.
Well, you should have, because I mean, clearly, it's like I would have been the best Superman on this one.
Like, on this one,
come on,
I'm on there. I'm on there, so that's impossible. Oh, so yeah, there is a fax machine. Oh wow. Oh yeah. So now that's starting to bleed over. So that is we're gonna have to fix that. That's insane. All right, refreshing all my screens before I head out, guys. It's been a great night. I'm going to Comic Style now. Listen, we might, now that we met ourselves halfway, I might put Dumb and Dumber up there. I might keep it up there longer. I don't know. Maybe somebody drops. I'll say this. So I will keep Dumb and Dumber as an option, right up until we leave for Comic-Con. Or till I leave for Comic-Con.
Still got time, guys. We got the Rhino scene. Now we can have the toilet scene.
There you go, Brad. Oh, I don't want Jimmy Olsen on there because they're all Supermen. So I did that. That's why I didn't add, even though we talked other things last night. You notice this is the first time I did not add all of our topics to the thumbnail because I tried to do it and it just did not. I just wanted it to all be. That's why even in the background of the thumbnail, even though that's a typo because I have fat finger, that I can change that. The Metropolis background, I even use that. So yeah, I really love that thumbnail. I know the guy who made it, and he's a swell guy. All right, guys. So we are at 3 more minutes. We're at 69 people. 3 more minutes. Anybody want to see Dumb and Dumber? I'll do it for a price and only a price because it is a absolutely turd from the sky. I mean, literally, if somebody listen, you know how pigeons shit on people. Watching Dumb and Dumber is probably like the equivalent of having a flying human being shit on you.
Well, I mean,
That's got probably the entertainment value,
and it's hilarious.
Wow, are you back on your are you back on your laptop or your tabletop again?
On my PC tonight, I was getting some shit done on it beforehand.
Okay. Yeah, because that squirrel inside, I think he's trying to escape, and that static is him saying,
"No, he's a big fan of the squirrels, including the one Superman saved. Are big fans of Dumb and Dumber."
Nah, if you're a fan of Dumber and Dumber, are you actually a Superman fan? I mean, I don't know. How does that work for you? How does that somebody's taking a superior deck. I wanted to keep it all Superman. And if I'd have had a good picture of Brad, because that avatar is not good enough. The one that that one's not good enough. It would because his head's all tilted. I got to get a good picture of Brad. That's just that I can put on cartoon bodies. Because because it would have been cool. But yeah, since I couldn't do him as Superman, I didn't want to put him in there. Let's see. All right, guys, I'm going to refresh the screen one more time. Here is the link. If you would like to, by the way, it can happen after the show. I don't mind. There you go. Bam. Thank you, Larry, for always coming for you. Even though it's usually to make me watch some crazy shit. All right. So there we go. Going once, going twice. We have 2 minutes left in the show. I put my fingers into my what? The return of the non-word, huh? Half the people that usually use that word aren't even online with us as much anymore. Oh. Yeah, we'll schedule it. I got to look at my schedule because, like I said, we'll get it done, but it's going to get wacky here. It's going to get real wacky this week because this is the last full week, and then I head into Comic-Con. I'm literally leaving Wednesday morning, so it's not just 4 days of Comic-Con that I need you guys to support with. It's 5 days. It's 5 days. What's so funny? Can't be one of your jokes because that does not.
I was thinking actually about. I was thinking about this something actually. I remember one time, and this is probably this was before the Snyder Cut was even released or even announced. When Film Junkie, he was just starting his vodka stream, like the proto vodka stream. Used to have fun in the comments. So one time I put in this, I put in this comment and he brought it up, and he was like, "What the fuck is this?" Where I said, "Oh, so if a man walks into a grocery store and buys a 6-pack and 14 apples, drinks half the 6-pack, and eats 1/3 of the apples, and then adds 25% more back to each, how much would he have?"
I don't know what to do with you sometimes. You know, sometimes I'm just like,
math is undefeated at everything, including comedy, and that was a math problem that was hilarious.
You would literally get taken. The patrons of whatever club you were at would literally get on the stage and just carry you off. I don't know why you're laughing at that, but I did not. I was going to force some laughter, but I'm like that. I can't even do that.
Well, we need to force laughter because we watch the Ace Ventura When Nature Calls pretty soon. And then we're going to have Dumb and Dumber right after it if our donors come through.
Yeah, there you go. Scott Steiner math at 33 and a half. Yeah. I never thought that skit would that promo would be still going later on in the day because I was watching it live when he did that. That was hilarious. All right, guys, please like, subscribe. Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, there's a panel for everything, but yeah, dude, tariffs are fucking up my life right now. I had a really good week, but when you realize that when I got to pay to get stuff, by the way, tariffs affect everybody, whether you're in politics or not. Whether you are one of the businesses or whether you live in a country that's being aimed at them, tariffs affect everything. Because even if they don't affect you directly, they affect something around you. They affect somebody around you. They affect your groceries. They affect if you're doing home improvement, you're getting slaughtered right now. If you want to buy things, it's just the cost of everything going up with inflation already being what it was. Now you're adding this. It affects everybody. It affects Vegas right now because once again, your disposable income is affected by what kind of income you're generating. There's a lot of things right now. That's why when people try to make comparisons to movies like, Man of Steel and be, all these movies that were released 12 years ago to what we're getting today, man, the world we had in 2013, I took it for granted. Looking at what we have now, looking at how people's mind work now, I took 2013 for granted, thinking that we were just going to get better, and we didn't. We kind of devolved. And that's why movies like Superman, people are looking for cartoonish stuff to make them happy because of the real life. The things that look real are they hurt. They hurt you financially. They hurt you just about everywhere. So, yeah, tariffs suck. So, yeah, I would not be surprised because tariffs is going to affect just about everything that Comic-Con is. It's going to affect their you may be able to sell out of Comic-Con, but if you can't afford to spend what you were spending a year before, then your revenue is going to go down, and you only have so many ways in Comic-Con to make this profitable, and they're a nonprofit. Brad, can you add some cash to the cause? Or you can add some cash?
No, it's like this is on you guys. It's like, because I mean, it's a conflict of interest if I were to do it.
Not really. I donated to your cause before when you were doing the thing. You could. I mean, you're not conflict of interest. You just don't want to do it. That's fine.
No, our viewers come through. I have faith in our viewers, and they've come before. They will do it again.
I don't think we're getting dumber and dumber. I'll see if I can send you. Yeah, I believe it's there. I believe it. I'm gonna try to get to. Man, there's so many panels. That's why the hardest part about Comic-Con this year is planning out things to get to everything I want to. I know I'm going to be at J. Scott Campbell's booth. I know I'm going to be at Tom McFarlane's booth. Oh, my Batman 423. Because you remember the Amazing Spider-Man 323 is my favorite all-time McFarlane cover, and I got that signed. You remember that adventure? This year I'm bringing my Batman 423, the Jim Starlin, the story, and the Todd McFarlane, the famous Todd McFarlane cover. And I'm bringing a brand new silver pen for him to sign it. Can't wait. Let's see if I can send you the panel. I want to be at the Kevin Smith and George Lucas panels if I can. Yeah, and he's coming to Hall H. Now, Kevin Smith ones, once we're in Hall H, Kevin Smith, he always does the last panel. Because remember, last year I left. I mean, we can stay this. I don't think I'm going to be in the physical wreck that I was when the Marvel panel was over. I felt like my body was just taking me away. I don't even remember going out because we were supposed to get Fantastic Four fans, but I was so damn tired. I was out. I was done, and I still had to go back to the old place to get my stuff to go to the new hotel. So I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And Kevin Smith was coming up, so Kevin Smith will be there, and I don't know what the panel the panel schedule is for George Lucas. I'm assuming George Lucas will be on a Saturday. Maybe he might do a Friday because the Predator Badlands ones I think is on Friday. So Rhea, I don't know if you've looked up the panel schedules and the Comic-Con schedules. There's an app when you go to the thing, you can download the app, or you can sign up on the site and you can X off everything you want, and it will send you your schedule, and it will text you when it's time. So yeah, but for me, there's two major autographs I always get every year: J. Scott Campbell and Todd McFarlane. Those are the only comics I'm bringing with me. Most of my most of my expenditures are going to be food, caffeine, maybe an emergency fund, travel going back and forth from the thing, eating about 80,000 of those hot dogs. Oh, I'm going to fuck those things up. Oh, and hot dog guy, whatever your sausage dude, if you're watching my channel, the best thing you could don't not be there, dude, because I'm gonna be hunting. I'm gonna be sniffing. As soon as I go out the back area to haul it to where we have to wait at Hall H, I'm gonna be sniffing and looking for you, and you need to be there because I'm gonna gobble up as many of them damn things. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know if you wanted to see him, but I was about to collapse. I was about to collapse. There was that stinging sensation in my eyes was happening, and I don't know what would have happened to me if I would have taken in one energy drink or one other caffeine thing. I think I may have just exploded right there and then, and you would have had to carry me out. But as soon as the Marvel panel was done, that spike of energy went down, and then it was and nobody really stayed. We all got the hell out of there. Especially for those of us who've been there for 2 days in that little line. I don't think it's going to be that bad this year around, but I'm formulating a plan. I'm hooking up with people online. If you get like 5 or 6 of us, then everybody can go do what they want to. But somebody told me whenever Marvel's not there, like I said, I did this in 2017. Whenever Marvel's not there for a morning or for the panel, you can just walk. As long as you get you can walk in and get a wristband at 7 a.m. that morning. Obviously, as we get closer to the Comic-Con, I'm gonna get with Rhea and game plan, and because I want to make it easy for her to cover things if she wants to wait in the line, because she did that for me last year. So it's gonna be fun. Yeah, there's a South Park. There's an everything panel. Everything is at this panel, but Marvel and DC. I spent more on video games at Comic-Con last year than anything besides food. Dude, my food and coffee budget for just Friday night, Saturday morning might have been the most expensive thing I did. Because I don't even want to remember how many energy drinks I had. I know I had enough Starbucks to literally send one of their kids to college. And I know I had enough espresso to nearly kill me because I felt like I was leaving the earth. And man, I like I said, that Saturday morning at Hall H was something else, dude. Part of me was so happy that it happened, but my body was like, we can't. I don't know if we have this in us this year. So I got a plan. But like I said, where I'm going does not have a reputation for the beds aren't made out of wood. So yeah, it was bad. Yeah, I remember looking at you because you got more sleep than I did. Like I said, seeing Red, because once I crashed at the Hall H line in the little park there, there was no way I was going to get it back. So I stayed up. Rhea curls up into a ball about this big, puts her little hoodie over, and she just goes right to sleep. And I'm like, just looking at her sleep, I'm getting dozing off and doing this shit the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, but I think, oh my goodness. I want to be at the RMB dinner. Yeah, oh, definitely. You're there with me. He's got his panels, and I signed up for one of his panels to be there, and I'm going to ambush him. And that is where a lot of your money, because I'm not gonna take him to Mickey D's. I'm gonna take him to a place. I'm gonna buy him some beers and stuff, and we're gonna sit with Robert Bryan Internet, and I'm gonna have that edited up. We missed out last year because last year was kind of chaotic, but I got a better idea how things I want to do. Fantastic Four is gonna be cool. Those are always cool. We're gonna have a lot of super. Oh, you know what? I want to see somebody do the engineers cosplay and actually do it with the nanotech. By the way, when that woman in real person is like this, she's so tiny. She looks so big in that movie. She's so tiny, but she's all muscle. But yeah, I want to see somebody do the engineer. There's gonna be a lot of Lex Luthor. That's easy. Ball cap, get the ball skull cap. That's easy. I don't know. I never really know what I want to see until I see it. Like that one I showed you guys with the Kingpin. Oh, somebody dropped another 20. Paul Payne. Thank you, Paul Payne. Thank you. You did a 15. You did 10. Thank you, Paul Payne. We're getting closer. Dumb and Dumber is still on the target list. Will you take away an RBJ about steakhouse? Well, we'll probably if there's one there, I'm gonna treat them like I said. We're not gonna go to the Golden Arches. You know, I'm gonna sit you down, take your time, and here have some fucking McNuggets. You grown ass man. No, we're gonna take them. If I don't know. I gotta map it out. I gotta wait to do that. But we're gonna go somewhere probably within the obviously with everything I do is going to be within the gas lamp district or within that mile there. And then the only time I'm going away from that area is when I go to where I'm staying, and I'm staying at Mission Beach. Oh my God, that dude, 2023 when I stayed there. I don't know why I didn't try to go there last year. That could have changed the course of mankind if I'd have just chosen them instead of where I did go. But the place I stayed at in 2023, oh, it's beautiful. The view is beautiful. The beach is there. And like I said, I grew up in Southern California. I grew up in a city with an ocean that borders an ocean. And I didn't give a half a shit about the ocean, about the beach. I lived in San Bernardino. Don't care about the forest. Don't care about the wilderness. But when I got out to San Diego that year, and when you land and you see the water and you get out there and it's just, man. And then I realized I have to come back to here, don't I? I eventually have to go there. And then and my voice is telling me, let's not think about that. Let's not think about that dreadful walk of shame. I'm going to have to work up that ramp into that plane that's going to land here in Vegas, hopefully. Planes getting crazy this year. And when I get off there and my eyeballs are starting to roast. Uh-oh. Okay. Thought we were going to hit that goal right now. So, all right, I think that's a good place to end it. We are 160 to an overall 300 goal. But you know what? I'm being generous, so we're going to watch that dreadful ass movie. You know, I'm not like Brad. I'm not going to scream and whine the whole thing. I'm going to tear it up. I'm going to tear this fucking movie up because this movie deserves to be absolutely annihilated if I'm going to be sitting there watching it. And Brad, by the way, Brad's sense of humor, the dad jokes that don't land and they're all flat, that's the guy who thinks this is a classic. The guy whose jokes would be Gong if he won the Gong show. That's the guy who thinks that Ace Ventura is funny. So take that as you will. What the fuck is a blooming almond? We don't eat that shit. Wow. Aaron's crazy. And I thought that in an Australian accent, by the way, Aaron. Now you'll be proud. Mission Beach is great. I think it's even further away than I want it to be. I pay the same amount on Ubers just to pay more to stay somewhere closer. Yeah, but by the time I got my plans locked in, those hotel prices, even with my military discount, because they gouge you. Even when you do, because here, and this is San Diego, we talked about this last year. We actually talked about this on Saturday night. The hotel apocalypse thing really pisses people off. What they do is they have a certain amount of hotels that are price controlled, but most people can't get those. And then everybody else price gouges. The half of them are reasonable and the other half are price gouging. And when you have 130 some odd thousand people cramming into San Diego's not a very big city. So me being the second most cheapest person in the world. In fact, I talked to my dad today and he says, no, I've taken his place because he's seen me how I spend money and all that. He's like,
No, you're not, because he splurges now that he's gotten older. I'm still cheap. I'm that guy that's paranoid that I'm going to lose everything the next day, so I pinch every penny. So when I looked at some of the prices for the hotels, and I'm like, what? And plus, I'm there for 5 days now, and I'm like, what? And they got a nice little view. There's one with the Marriott is beautiful. And yeah, I could have probably used donations to try, but yeah, it would have cramped everything else. I would have been in a nice hotel, and I would have had to sneak on those hotel carts. I would have had to sneak out into the hallway and pull in the hotel carts from somebody else's food to eat. I don't want to do that. So yeah, William El Cheapo, yeah. But I know it's a little bit, Mission Beach is a further away. But man, I love that place. And there were other closer places, but I remember how I felt when I stayed there. Sometimes just how you feel. I can't wait. Walking on you walk on the ocean, and there's all these little townhouses where people like the Airbnbs, and they're all out there playing volleyball and stuff. I may even stream from there if I can find some power. Stream with the waves coming behind me and the seagulls shitting on me. It's gonna be great. I don't know who got her going with the blooming artist. Undoubtedly a comedy classic. Absolutely not. Sure, music man. Whatever you say. Oh, hey, Aaron. No, not Aaron. I'm sorry. Rhea. They're bad no matter what. What they do is they take these blocks, so you can't months ago you can't say I want to stay in this block for a cheaper price. Hey, I'm getting it early. No, these guys, they black them out, and they only make them available for these crazy ass prices. So if you're going to be staying in downtown San Diego on that time period, it doesn't matter when you get your tickets, you're going to get gouged. And that's the thing that the guy who runs Comic-Con, that's the thing that he said, we're gonna, we don't know if we can stay here, because not only is we have a capacity issue, and the only way we can make more money and cover costs is to raise prices on the same thing that they're giving you every year, or we'd have to move. But the biggest thing is it's an unpleasant experience, because no matter when you try to get your hotel, you're going to get gouged. And they say that's one of the biggest complaints that they get every year when they do their after action review. So yeah, it's crazy. Aaron, take a Chinese restaurant. I asked him, I texted him, what's your preference, dude? Do you want Italian? That's where we can go. But I'm getting this done. I'm going to burn the midnight oil. That's going to be like Mardi Gras for me. You're going to see me on the streets. You're going to see me everywhere. And I will be equally as tired, but for the right reasons. For the right reasons, not because I couldn't sleep, because I had to wander the streets of San Diego, because I didn't have a bed to sleep in, because there was nowhere for me to go. And the people who set me up and where I'm at, they were online and they were working with me, but there was nowhere for me to go. Vegas and San Diego are not the same. If something like that would have happened to me in Vegas, within the hour, they would have had somewhere else for me to go. Comp me a meal. They did. They would have hooked me up. They would have been so afraid to be sued. They'd have been like, you know what? We're going to comp this room. That's what we're going to do. So, it's going to be, I'm looking forward to Comic-Con. I mean, I've been looking forward to Comic-Con for a while. I'm looking forward to getting out of Vegas. It's fun here, but it's hot here. Tomorrow is going to be 112. Tomorrow will be the hottest day of the year so far. Hasn't really bothered me as much as it usually does. Thai food, we're going to be, like I say, wherever Robert wants to go. And then, Rhea, have your questions ready. Have your questions ready, because you're going to be with him. You feel free to ask Robert questions. Oh wow! See, that's Clint's black humor. That's Clint's black humor. We can't be talking about eating. Now koalas, that's different. No, I'm just kidding. as she has a kangaroo when she came in. Who's a private chat? I didn't get the private chat. I never look at the private chat when we're on the air with each other, because there's no reason. All right, guys. It's 1:00. Gator Nuggets. I've actually had those. Like, subscribe, donate if you can. If you can't, just continue to watch. That helps us out too. We will not be on the air tomorrow unless I have a Benadryl stream.
Yeah.
But I doubt I will. And that's it. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the money we raised the stream. Thank you for all 75 of you that are watching right now. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the alert button, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
All right, see you guys.